The construction nerd in me was actually really excited to go after a project like this because I knew it was going to be new, knew it was going to be challenging. Frankly, I knew that it was going to be important. Hi, my name is Brendan McCluskey. I'm the president of Trident Builders, and we are a commercial general contracting firm based in Baltimore, Maryland. This particular project really caught my eye. The Smithsonian, being a world-class institution in its own regard, had this project for passive house construction at their Environmental Research Center, the SERC facility in Edgewater, Maryland.
Well, SERC is 56 years old, so I'm not quite from the very beginning, but SERC began from a bequest, an unanticipated bequest by an eccentric dairy farmer and businessman named Robert Lee Forrest, who, when he died, had bequeathed his 368-acre dairy farm and $1.7 million in stock to the Smithsonian. So at that point, the Smithsonian committed to establishing the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center as an institution to understand connected ecosystems in the coastal zone. The Green Village is short-term housing. There are 6 of them built in 3 pairs of cottages to provide 3 bedrooms and a living room and kitchen and bathrooms for us to meet the needs of our visitors that come here for short periods of time.
So Trident Builders is the general contractor on this project. We're responsible for the architecture and design process as well as the construction in the field. And we were really excited to win this thing because it's going to incorporate both modular construction practices, which is fairly new to the industry, as well as passive house certification, which is very cutting edge.
So what is passive house? Obviously, we're asked that question all the time. Passive house is basically a conservation-first approach to deep energy reductions. What's unique about this project is that we can create these sort of 6 visiting scientist cottages to be passive house, low energy. With the available rooftop, we can get positive energy. So this is better than zero energy. It's actually a net benefit to the climate.
A key aspect of the project that's a bit different is that we're incorporating prefabrication company, Blueprint Robotics, where buildings are prefabricated in a factory and then brought to the site and constructed or erected on the site.
Trident Builders did not have any direct experience with passive housing. I'm a LEED accredited professional. I have done platinum projects, gold projects, silver projects, and just regular certified projects. But I knew passive housing of what it was. I just never had performed it myself. One of the reasons we wanted to do this video series was because we wanted to present what passive house was in a very apolitical or even secular sort of approach, just very technical. Like, what are the challenges to design? What are the challenges to construction? What is it going to take for this methodology to be adopted throughout the industry, as well as the insights as to how we have to kind of break up the design and the construction flow from the typical process. I thought that was important to share with other members of our industry.
So how does SERC's research on climate change tie into this Green Village project?
Well, the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center has a particularly interesting perspective on climate change because now we have database that shows how these ecosystems are responding to climate change. It's not abstract. We can see that trees around here are growing 2 to 4 times faster in the last 30 years than the previous 300 years because of climate change. We can see that there were once 4 small islands in the Road River here, and now there's only 1.5 left due to sea level rise. We can see the effects of storms coming in. We can see the changes in the way that plants grow and animals behave as a result of the changing climate.
What a lot of people don't know is that the built environment is responsible for about 47% of carbon emissions every year. 20% of that is construction, what it is we do here, and most of that is actually concrete. However, another 27% of the carbon emissions each year is from the built environments, the buildings that we live in and work in every day.
It's very urgent. In the next time period, we're talking about housing, in one 30-year mortgage time, climate change is going to be upon us, irreversible.
Housing today that gets built has an expected lifespan of 50 to 100 years. If we're going to achieve net carbon neutrality in 20 to 30 years, the houses that we build today need to have as low of a carbon footprint as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is, you could say it's inherently challenging to do this because we're working within systems that have been established for many, many years. But, there's really only one challenge, ultimately, when you get down to it. It's the mindset of the individual. We have literally seen teams who've never heard the words passive house learn about it, get excited, get inspired, and knock it out of the park.